Hello, Friday. I've just got one snip up today and we'll just see how we go. I'll read it and see what happens in the Nick Brainium. The headline of the Financial Times article is Puzzle of Falling UK Labour Productivity by Martin Wolf, who's back from his holidays, vacation. Since the start of the recession, the output per worker in the UK has fallen by 3%. This is extraordinary. In a recent speech, Ben Broadbent, a member of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee, noted that if the pre-crisis relationship between output and employment still held, the number of jobs would have fallen by 8% since mid-2007. Yet employment has risen since then. This is the thing that I noted earlier this week, I think, that UK employment was up. It has also apparently risen since early 2010, despite stagnant output and falling public sector employment. And the article goes on to ask why. Now, there will be a lot in that opening paragraph that you don't understand. And I've had the two choices of the video: spend the video explaining that paragraph or explaining what I think are the ramifications of that paragraph, or indeed kind of answering the question that is posed in the Martin Wolf article there. Puzzle of falling UK labour productivity. Employment is up, productivity is down. I think what we've got, and it's been explained this week in the videos, that what's called return to labour, as in there's a certain amount of money comes into the company as profit, let's say, and there's a certain amount that goes for research and development and whatever, all these types of things, paying back bank loans, and a certain amount goes to the workers as the workers. Now, the return of profit to the workers has been going down for the last 30 years or something. And this is the reason why, generally, the household income, real household income, has not been going up in major Western countries much. We've had Germany, UK, and the United States this week. I think I've put graphs up for. But it's just a general thing across the West that even if real wages have been going up an itsy bitsy bit, they have not been going up pro rata with the amount of profit that their companies have been making. Yeah, the return to labour has been on the way down since about since the 70s. Right. What has happened is that let's cut companies up into three. You've got top management, middle management, and the workers. Right, the workers. What has happened is that kind of top management get round the boardroom and find ways of squeezing more out of the company. What they've done for 30 years is demand ridiculous things from their middle management of how to screw more out of the workers, or to develop other ways of getting productivity up to make more profit. And if middle management make their, what do they call, targets, then they have generally been rewarded. So what's happened is that top management sit on the top floor with their feet on their desks, having a good time. Middle management are running around like blue-ass flies, squeezing what they can out of the company, knowing that if they do hit their targets, they get bonuses and chance of promotion to eventually the top floor where they can put their feet up on the desk. Obviously, this is all... Well, obviously it is. Okay, but what's happened, I think, over the 2000 dot-com crash, the 9/11 recession, let's say, and this Great Recession, is that top management have got their feet off the desk and are going, we actually need to screw more out of this company because the shit's really hitting the fan out there in the world. We can see from our skyscraper window. And they've started to squeeze middle management. middle management is now realizing that it's been squeezed, and it's just not doing the bidding automatically like the top management are telling them to do. This is all, of very vague and broad brush and whatever. But what we've got now is middle management being treated to a certain extent like the workers have for the last 30 years. They are being screwed as well. So when you get the puzzle of falling UK labour productivity, what's happening, I think, is middle management is being replaced by cheaper middle management. I won't confuse it by saying promoting the workers, but they're being replaced by cheaper replacements, either from other companies or even university leavers, school leavers are being put straight into middle management. Now, this can work for a certain amount of time, that the companies have the momentum and they flow on, but eventually the value of middle management is realized. And what happens in the company is that middle management stops doing its job as efficiently. We won't say stops completely, stops doing its job as efficiently. And top management have forgotten how much work they did when they were middle management, and middle management was screwing the workers as much as possible. Workers, generally, the herd that comes in, aren't always, let's say, open to really working their little bottoms off through the 8 hours of the day. Middle management, to a greater extent, has to invent things to keep them going, either carrot stick, whatever it might be, to keep them going. Given half a chance, the workers they are not very productive. There's a certain amount of camaraderie which is automatic in any group of people. A group of workers, it seems to even lower the amount of camaraderie there is, and this is where middle management needs to come in with either carrot and stick. What I think's happening now, and I'm going on about it so much today, is because I think it's going to sweep across the entire OECD world, the Western world, and so that's probably coming to a factory or any sort of employer near you, is that the whole realization that only top management have been getting the return from the profits is settling into the minds of the workers and middle management. And basically the efficiency of the companies are dropping because of that realization. It's a purely mental thing that economists can never put into their models and their equations. Basically, 90% of the people, let's say, or 65, it doesn't matter what your number, 80% of the people are basically disincentivized. They have realized that they are being taken for a ride. And what happens when this happens? There's interactions that just happen to outside work, inside work, and eventually things just go, And I think that is what is happening in the entire Western world and explains what's happening in the UK. Top management or even middle management can employ these cheaper people, but they've got to employ more of them because the whole camaraderie thing has gone and the company structure's going by the wayside, and what was a very efficient middle manager has to now be replaced by 3 children from school. That's the kind of thing that I'm saying. Obviously, that's the great exaggeration for it. But it's all down to the fact we could say that top management now is not spending the money on the future. It's a microcosm of the macrocosm. The companies aren't spending on research and development and investment in the future, and inside their company they're not doing the same as well, and the company is realizing it, and its whole ethos is crumbling, and I think that's what we've got. So you can employ more people, but you're not going to get the work out of them because they have realized now that they have been taken for a ride over 30 years, and their hopes and dreams when they get on these internal management ladders, they've realised they're going nowhere. They are going nowhere at all. And they're just not doing that extra that was necessary to keep the companies going. And I think we'll see a lot of this across the Western world now. They're cash rich at the moment. They've taken their overdrafts, their bank loans. They've not spent on research and development, and they've not spent on investment in new machinery. They're cash rich at the moment, and they can spend to... They're not spending efficiently, but that cash margin will soon go down when the profits aren't coming in. And the profits won't be coming in because the realization from their people, their workers, their middle management, filters outside to the shops as well, to the stores, to the retail, to consumption. They know now, they have realized that their ladder up is not as tilted upwards as they were dreaming and imagining it was in the past. They know their future is just about flat if they are lucky. Their spending now will become not tilted upwards but flat. They won't be borrowing for a prosperous future. They will get to more spending the money that they've got. And this whole brought forward buying is all drifting away, and as that drifts away, those figures will go into top management where they work, and the whole thing turns round. As profits come down, even less research and development will be done, less investment will be done, less money will be paid to middle management to do their carrot and sticking, and the whole thing will crumble even more and more. But the main drive of this video is to say, call it the Wall Street occupiers or the 99% or all that. It's got through to the people. They have realized that unless you're right at the top, you're basically being screwed, and your hopes and dreams just aren't what they used to be. They never have been for the last 15-20 years, but it's taken this slap in the face and the realization is coming home to them, and their spending is going down pro rata. And that means the entire consumption drive, the wave that was washing forward in the Western world, is slowing down. The beach is drying out. And that will mean lots of things, and none of them are good. So that's your answer, Martin. It's all psychological. It's all up here in millions and millions and millions of heads. Bye.